Vasudeva. Yes, great friends, welcome you all. Keep on listening to the Vedanta till this total 180 degrees transformation happens in our understanding and vision from this side to this side. This side, what we have right now is whole seen world of names and forms with all the modifications in it are real. Only there is nothing beyond it other than it. From this, through the regular Shravana Manana, we have to come to the totally opposite understanding that all what we see, the world of names and forms, with its modification, all of them are only mithya kalpita. There is a substratum. That substratum alone is real. In that substratum, there are no any sort of modifications of Janma Maranadi. Till we come to that total metamorphosis in our understanding from this to that, we have to do the Shravana Manana of Upanishads, such Vedanta Granthas. This is the journey in spirituality. It is in our understanding of unreal as real and real as unreal. From this to the real as real and the unreal as unreal. Let us travel, let us take our time, let us take the help of the Gurus, the Shastras, the Paramatma, and our own efforts in this regard. If there is seriousness in us, sincerity in us, regularity in us, continuous willingness is in us, ready to sacrifice anything is in us, we will be able to reach it. Why worry about the time? Let's travel. One day we'll reach into that destination of this understanding that everything is Brahman and that I am. And in this Brahman, there is no samsara. I am that Brahman, therefore, there was never a samsara in me. There is never a samsara bondage in me. There is not even an iota of possibility of misery in me. All that was in ignorance and delusion, which was done and dusted. This is what is the clarion call, or the trumpet blow, or the conch blow of all our Upanishadic Brahmanishta rishis. The Vasishtha teach that only as the ultimate goal. To reach to that goal, from where we are, the entire travel is called sadhana and depends on where we are, what we are supposed to do. The variety of swadharmas, the values, the karma yogas, the bhakti yogas, ashtanga yogas, they're all ashtanga in between travels, but the destination is this knowledge and then avoidance in this knowledge as our experience. May, if this knowledge is true, it click to us. May, if our seriousness and sincereness is true, may it happen to us quickly. If we truly are sadhakas and devoted to Shruti, Guru and Bhagavan, may it happen to surely, certainly, very soon. And if with our prayers, upasanas, the Gurus, the Rishis, the Shastra, Shruti Mata, Paramatma is even little bit pleased. May they bless us for this to happen very soon. Let us see the 14th Sarga, Brahma Pratipadanam, the heart and hub of this Prakarana and entire Shastra and entire Vedanta, entire Adhyatmikata. That everything is Brahman alone. How many mantras we saw? Om Namo Narayanaya. 57. Let us do it from 58 today. Om 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 Sahanavavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो। ॐ येरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वम् ॐ शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यम् ॐ निधये सर्वविद्यानाम् ॐ श्रीराम राम रामेति ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्त ब्रह्म भक्ति योग धर्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मत् गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीरामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे श्री वशिष्ठ विश्वामित्र वाल्मीकि वेदव्यास वामदेव नारदादि श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणादीनाम् आचार्येभ्यो नमः। संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषद योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्ष कैवल्य प्राप्त्यर्थम सनातन धर्म से विश्वव्याप्ति विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगत्यर्थम धर्म संस्थापकानां नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थम श्रीराम मंदिरवत् शिव कृष्णादि मंदिरादीनां पुनरवाप्तितेषु निरंतर शास्त्र अध्ययनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातन धर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रुघ्न समूल निर्मूलन पूर्वक भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्मात् क्षणादारभ्य वैदिक हैंदव संस्कृतेः धर्ममोक्ष पुरुषार्थानां सुसंप्रतिष्ठा अवाप्त्यर्थम् अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां संकल्पित सत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयार्थं तेषां हृदये परब्रह्मादीनां प्रति भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्म साफल्यार्थं श्री वाल्मीकि महर्षि विरचित श्री राम वशिष्ठ संवाद रूप श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्रस्य पारायणम् अध्ययनं साधना प्रयत्नं मोक्षार्थं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। मंगलाचरण श्लोकाः। ओम यद सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ओम तस्मै श्री गुरवे वसिष्ठमुनये नित्यं नमस्कुर्महे। ओम विश्वामित्र मुनिम शरण्यमनघं भूयो नमस्याम्यहम्। ओम तस्मै वाल्मीकये श्री गुरुतम गुरवे भूरिभावैर्नताः स्मः। ओम पूर्णानंद स्वभावः स्वजनहितकृते माययोपात्तकायः कारुण्यादुद्दिदीर्षुर्जनमनमरतं मोहपङ्के निमग्नम् आविश्यान्तर्वसिष्ठं बहिरपि कलयन् शिष्यभावं वितेने यः संवादेन शास्त्रामृतजलधिममुं रामचन्द्रं प्रपद्ये। ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ओम श्री रामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्री वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः। श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्रम तृतीय उत्पत्ति प्रकरणम ब्रह्म प्रतिपादनम नाम चतुर्दश सर्गः। श्री वशिष्ठ उवाच। फ्रेंड्स, 57 मंत्र was चित्स्पन्दरूपिणोरस्ते न भेदः कर्तृकर्मणोः स्मन्द्रमात्रं भवेत् कर्म स एव पुरुषः स्मृतः। अब देखो, the most tough subject to be digested. Step by step, let us see. Chit spanda rupinoho asti na bhedaha. Pure consciousness and its spandana shakti, maya shakti, chit shakti, chamatkara shakti, whatever the names you give, na bhedaha asti. First, they are in their primordial status, one without second only. In that, the spandana shakti dissolves, stays as one with the chitta. That means chit alone remains. Just like in all prayagas we see, one river merges in the other, losing its rupa nama, the other one's name only prevails. है ना? Like in Rudraprayag, when Alakananda, Mandakini, when they merge, Mandakini loses its name, only Alakananda continues. Isn't it? What happened to Alakananda, Mandakini's name? It got dissolved. How it's called Alakananda only. है ना? Before that also the Son Prayag, Karna Prayag, Vishnu Prayag and all of that. So in that way, Chit Spandanoho Bhedah Nasti. First point. Second, Kartru Karmanoho. Chit is Karta and the Spandana is the thing on which the Karta Chit does the action. Therefore, it is called Karma. So that Chit does the Spandana, means activates its own Shakti. Spanda-matram bhavet karma. That Chitta does the Spandana of the Spanda Shakti. That's what is its job. Once it is done, that with Spandana doing, that Chit Paramatma Tattva is called as Purusha. At the total level as Ishvara, at the level of individual as Jiva. Without becoming aware of, without giving chabi to this Spanda Shakti, whether total level or individual level, the Ishwar is none other than Chitswarupa Brahma. Here also Jiva is none other than Chitswarupa Brahma. In fact, that is our goal. On the expressions of this Spanda Shakti, when they are dropped, when that Spanda Shakti also is dissolved, in the cognition and establishment in the Chit Swarupa, Chit alone remains. Actually, that is one sort of meditation. So the Chitta, Chit Spanda Shakti, and the Chit does the karma of Spandana on its own Spanda Shakti. At that time, the Purusha, the Chit itself is now the Purusha, whether it's Ishvara or Jiva. And he, with his Spanda Shakti, the Maya Shakti, goes on doing Srishti Sthiti Laya at the total level, all in his control, therefore he is not bound. In that Srishti, one is you and I Jiva, a tiny miniature. We are not able to keep that Shakti in us, in our control, as if, because we have not tried, that's it. Therefore, we become bound to Jiva. That's why if I become total master of my own Spanda Shakti, that is Maya Shakti, that is Avidya, I myself am Ishvara. When I dissolve or give up that Spanda Shakti, fully become aware of my own self, even freed from the Shakti, I realize myself to be that Chit Swarupa Brahman, which is the ultimate reality. May all these words doesn't remain only as words, may all these words and sentences become meaningful knowledge in us. May that knowledge be convincing to us. Let that conviction be truly lived by us, and in that, by realizing the real Chit Swarupa, may we be freed from all the bandhana. May, in the explanation of all this, in the reasoning and understanding of all this, whatever the in between, fill up the blanks are there, doubts are there, questions are there, may all of them be sorted out. O Lord Rama, O Vaashishtha, please bless us. We are serious and sincere. You to be kind and compassionate. Now, 58. Jivaha chitta parispandaha pumsam chittam sa evascha manahato indriya rupam sat sattam naneva gacchati. This is another very important shloka. Literal meaning has to be understood and that has to be visualized on the seat of meditation. Not an easy job, but not an impossible job, and it has no alternative. It has to be done only. So, Jivaha, who is Jivaha now? Chitta Parispandaha Pumsam. Pumsam, pure Paramatma Tattva. His Maya Shakti is Chitta. When that Parispandana happens in that Chitta, the identity with that is called as Jivaha now. Then Chittam Therefore, that Chittam in its final stage is Sa eva cha, that Paramatma only. Because for the Chitta, the existence is of Paramatma. If the existence goes away, Chitta also doesn't exist. Therefore, in another way, Chitta is Paramatma only. Therefore, that sense of otherness in that Chitta consciousness alone is Chitta. With that sense of otherness, the identity, the Paramatma himself now, is called as Jiva. Then what happens? That Chitta is there, no? That alone, Manahatu Indriya Rupam Sat. Later on, in its further glorification, for the sake of creation or Leela, itself becomes the Mana, thereafter Indriyas. Earlier topic में क्या कहा? All the tanmatras are nothing but that chamatkara shakti. From the tanmatras, the entire gross world has happened. But not only the gross world we see the mind, we see the indriyas. Those indriyas and mana are nothing but chitta. Chitta is chamatkara shakti of Paramatma. What exactly is the chitta? The sense of otherness, that's it. That's why when the sense of otherness with my pure real self is dissolved by realizing that self, chitta is not there. Then mana is not there. Indriyas are not there. In that effort only we transcend the entire Dehadi Tadatmya. That's why the Tanmatras, Panchamahabhutas also are gone away from our vision. It's a beautiful thing even to apprehend intellectually when it is really experienced. It's so fantastic. It's like when we go into the space or sky or center of an ocean or center of a forest or mountain top. I alone am there. That I we right now know it as gross body, yukta I. Just drop that gross body concept. Feel I alone am there. There is nothing other than me. That will be the experience. When this side, Indriyas, Mana dissolved in Chitta, Chitta is dissolved by discovering oneness with the self. In that effort only, Dehadi Tadatmya is transcended. When we, with the roots, the Deha Tadatmya transcend, when we transcend, the Tanmatras, the Stula Panchamahabhutas, with them the body's formation, all of them become redundant. It's not as easy as it is said in 3 minutes, but it is a sadhana of many, many lives, as many as required. अब एक ज्ञानेर दृढ़ होना है, इसको हम डाइजेस्ट करना है, अब अपने आप को अंतर्मुख बनाना है, अब इसी का शोधना करना है, पूर्णतया साधक ही बनकर रहना है. अब देखो, these are all the in between stages we have to cross. As the Lord has brought us here, or our destiny has brought us here, or our evolution has brought us here, we will further also move. Our job is consciously do this purushartha of studying our shastras, tattva shastras, listen them regularly and keep contemplating. And any sadhanas of viveka, vairagya, shamadamadi to quieten the mind, to maintain the purity of the mind, to maintain the antarmukhata, to maintain distance with the world with viveka, vairagya, they are the permanent precautions. Always to be taken care. सो इतना समझ में आया ना. जीव चित्त परिस्पंद पुंसाम, परमात्म तत्व पुंसाम पुरुष का चित्त है, उसका परिस्पंद होकर उस चित्त से तादात्म्य पुरुष ही जीव है. चित्तम स एव च. Finally, that chitta is nothing other than Paramatma Tattva only. From that chitta only, Manahatu Indriyana, Indriya Rupam Sat. Sattam. Therefore, Nana Iva Gacchati. That one pure Paramatma Tattva only, through this chitta, mana, indriya, nanatva, it obtains. Means the sense of separation between me, my chitta, my mind, my indriyas happen. I am different from them. Again, I own them as if they are mine, and again I identify with them. See, oneness with all of them by recognizing their substratum to be me is different from maintaining the distance with them and still identifying with them. Right? I and my car are one. That is oneness from the Satta standpoint. Car is other than me, but I own it. I attach to it. I love it. I like it. It is mine. This is different relation. So we all have the second relation with our Chitta, Indriya, Mana, Buddhi. They are other than me, but I identify with them. Substratum wise देखा जाए, what Sat is there supporting all of them is the Sat supporting I also. Therefore, I and them are from the Sat standpoint not Bhinna. This is a beautiful Siddhanta. Vishwasishta ji, while giving through Rama to all of us, is blossoming our bud of intellect. When it blossoms, when all that fragrance, softness enters in it, that blossomed intellect with Vedantic knowledge is so beautiful, so blissful. होने दो, धीरे धीरे होने दो, बस आओ डेली सुनते जाओ बस, जैसे राम जी कर रहे. नेक्स्ट वन. शांत अशेष विशेषम ही चित प्रकाश छटा जगत कार्य कारण कारित्वम तस्मात् अन्यत् न विद्यते. दिस इज ब्यूटी. शांत अशेष विशेष है ना. अशेष मीन्स ऑल, विशेष मीन्स स्पेसिफिकेशंस. The specification of Deha with its Lakshanas, specification of the Indriyas with their Kriya, specification of Mana with its Lakshana, specification of Chitta with its Lakshana, Ashesha, Vishesha. All of them, when they are Shanta on the seat of meditation, Chitta, what remains is the Chit, which is Atman. In the Atman only, the Kalpita Ashesha Vishesha are projecting this Jagat which is never there. When those Visheshas are dissolved, what remains is Chit. From that side. From this side, Chit Prakasha Chata Jagat. The entire Jagat is nothing but Chit Chaitanya Prakasha only. In that sense of otherness is Chitta, Chitta projecting Mana, and all the Tanmatras and Indriyas, Panchamahabhutas, the whole Jagat is never anyway separate from Chit or Sat. सो अशेष विशेष शांत हो गए तो चित्त अनुभव में आएगा. चित्त ही क्या कहते हैं, चित्त ही चित्त प्रकाश छटा जगत. चित्त एक्सपेंडेड कॉन्शियसनेस अलोन इज जगत. देखो, देयर इज नो टू थिंग्स कॉल्ड एज चित्त आत्मा एंड जगत, जस्ट लाइक द नो टू थिंग्स कॉल्ड एज गोल्ड एंड ऑर्नामेंट्स. Let this click to us. Let that patience, let that subtlety in our intellect, let our application happen there. Let us find interest in this knowledge. Let's find meaning is this knowledge. Let us discover the necessity of this knowledge. इनमें जो वे सारे गुण आते हैं ना, we value this knowledge. We gain this knowledge. We start living this knowledge. We start looking from this knowledge standpoint. Then for us, everything is Brahmamayam, Atmamayam. There is no samsara at all. In that kalpita jagat mein, all janma maranadi also are kalpita. Not real. Think, then when it is kalpita and not real, what is the reason for really to suffer? There is no samsara. Isn't it? You remember dream, but you don't suffer because it is realized as kalpita. So too we go through the entire worldly gamut at for the level for vyavahara. But we know it's all kalpita, therefore we don't get bound. Wow, what a beautiful thing. And before that, the reality has to be realized, the substratum. Without knowing the substratum, we have no right to say this whole world to be mithya and kalpita. But in the beginning, we have the duty to understand, as said by Guru and Shastras, that this jagat is mithya, to the extent that we keep away from it as regards the bhoga is concerned, but we utilize all aspects of jagat which are required for our sadhana. That much. Once through sadhana, when we realize the self, then there is no jagat other than me. नेक्स्ट, ये तो देख लिया शांत अशेष विशेषम ही चित प्रकाश छठा जगत. देयरफॉर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग कार्य कारण कारित्वम. Karya, the effect. Karana, the cause. Karitvam, conversion of the effect, cause into effect. Tasmat anyat na vidyate. From that Chit Paramatma, they never exist separate. Karana, Karya, Karitvam do never exist separate from the Chit. And in the Chit, these three are not there. The pure Chit is Karya Karana Vilakshana Brahma. But whenever we see the Karya Jagat, we have to know it as a Karana, and the Karana cannot be anything other than Paramatma. Cannot be anything other than Paramatma. Ha ha. So when you see the pure gold, it's gold and gold and gold alone. There is not even any ornament. But when you see the ornaments, they have to be the effects. When they are effects, they have to have a cause, and the cause cannot be anything other than gold. ये है ये विचित्र causeless cause of the Brahma Tattva, effectless of the entire Jagat. इनका संबंध ये है. That's called relationless relationship. What's relationless relationship? Relationless from the absolute standpoint, because in absolute there's only one thing. There need to be two things for having relativity. Relationship means the entire Jagat, if you take it as effect, the only cause is the Brahman. That's the relation. And that Brahman is in our own heart, is there as Satchidananda. That we have to realize by transcending our Dehendra Prana Mano Buddhi in our meditation. To reach to that, we have to finish all formalities, clear all our debts, clear all our prarabdhas through various karma yogas, bhakti yogas, etc. They're all सफाई कर्मचारी. साफ करेंगे हमारे दिल को इन सब गंदगियों से. साफ हो गया दिल. Just see that. Wow. The moment that self is realized, whenever that moment comes, maybe 10,000 lives or 10 lives, 10 days or within 10 seconds. Once that realization happens, other than it, the grossness, the subtleness, the causalness, the oneness, the many, the individual, total, ये सारे ऐसे गायब हो जाते हैं. जैसे स्विच ऑफ करते ही टीवी में जो चल रहा था सारा तमाशा, everything gone, because that all was projected on the screen, the substratum. When the substratum is realized, the projected can never have existence. Isn't it? The snake, its hoods, its fangs, its tail, all of them are gone. Just like that, the moment the rope is realized. Good, no? Whenever these subtle Vedantic thoughts we discuss, bring the examples, get little more understanding, conviction and depth. करते जाओ करते जाओ करते जाओ. जैसा आज इंट्रोडक्शन में कहा, we have to reach to a stage where for us everything is Brahman intellectual, everything is Brahman practical, everything is Brahman experiential. That's it. उसके अलावा हम ना किसी चीज को मानेंगे, ना किसी चीज को एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, ना किसी चीज को सत्य कहेंगे, ना किसी में इन्वॉल्व होंगे, ना कुछ मांगेंगे. अब ये उपनिषद का अध्ययन should take to that level if we are true students. If we are half-hearted students, for us this class is only class. Other than that, we have no interest in it. Whole life of ours is like any other ordinary person, worldly, worldly, worldly. Therefore, the janma, marana, roga, dukkha, mrityu, none of them can be avoided. Suffer, but realize the self. Where is the janma, marana? So, in this way, Shanta, Shesha, Vishesham, Hichita, Prakasha, Chata, Jagatu, Karya, Karana, Karitvam, Tasmat, means from that Paramatma, Anyat, as different, Navidyate, never exists. So, Paramatma alone. His Shakti is never separate from him. At that time, he is Ekamevadvayam Brahma. When he realizes his Shakti, then the Shakti and Shaktiman Sambandha appears. It's only Kalpanika. Then he doing the chavi to that Shakti, and then Shakti expressing the entire Stula Sukshma Karana Jagat. ये सब उस काल्पनिकता में ही है. While all of that is happening, the substratum is never separate from them. It is always there in it. Like gold, in that gold, the moldable Shakti that is invoked. Then slowly the gold is getting molded into an ornament. While that is happening, has the gold got separated any time? Disappeared any time? Changed any time? It's always there. Instead of gold, you put yourself there. I am the pure Brahman, the gold. In me, with my own Shakti, the entire Jagat is Kalpita. In the Kalpita Jagat, I am their substratum. The Jagat Kalpita is Rupanam. वाह, बन जाए बात, स्पष्ट हो जाए बात ना. Like in the winters, early morning mist, dhund, zero visibility. As the sun starts rising, slowly, slowly, the mist goes away, the fog goes away, the vision becomes clear, the beautiful, that scene we enjoy. Same way, the mist of ignorance and delusion is clouding the vision of self. When the knowledge of Shastras like sunlight comes and removes this mist, then the vision of the self is so vivid, conspicuous, that everything is that Satchidananda Brahma and I am that. बगा हो गया बात. अब इसी को सुनना, इसी को समझना, इसी में रमना. वेदांत वाक्येषु सदा रमन्तः. है ना? Other than this, again in the Mithya Jagat, let us not enter by taking it to Satya through our Raga Dvesha Kama Krodha. बस उठ जाओ उसमें से. Once you pass 7th class, 10th class, now you are postgraduate, you don't get back with that knicker and tie and sit in that 6th class bench with other students. हो गया वो, पार कर चुके. है ना? When you have become grandfather, the grandchildren do namaskar dada. At that time again, like a youngster of 17 years, all those chichora things we don't do, no? All over that time. Now you are a dignified, life fulfilled elderly man. It's a different thing altogether. So too, when the Upanishads are studied, such great texts are studied, our vision is only one. Like the scientists of the respective scientific field try to recognize the subtlest thing there. We spiritual scientists should always focus on the substratum, substratum, substratum. That's it. और कुछ हम पे हमें न देखना है न पाना है. उसमें पूरी तरह में डूब जाना चाहिए. पी के डूबे, परमात्मा कृपा में डूबे. पी एंड परमात्मा के मीन्स कृपा में डूबे. बस. नेक्स्ट, अच्छे देखो गीता टू मॉर्निंग ऑल्सो वी कोटेड नो. अच्छेद्योहमदाह्योऽयम् अच्छेद्योहमदाह्योऽहम् अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतस्थाणुः अचलोऽहमिति स्थितम्. सेम श्लोक. अव्यक्तोऽयम् अचिन्त्योऽयम् अविकार्योऽयम् उच्यते तस्मादेनं विदित्वैनं नानुशोचति मरसि. अथ चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मनसे मतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैवं शोचितुम् अर्हसि. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्यु ध्रुवं जन्म तस्य. Second chapter. The only difference is there I am kaha. I am means this. Here in Yoga Vaashishtha, aham kaha. दोनों में फर्क नहीं. There अच्छेद्योयम adahyoyam. Here अच्छेद्योहम adahyoham. So I am that self अच्छेद्य, which cannot be chedita, broken into pieces, cut into pieces through any swords, etc. Adahyaha can't be burnt by fire, etc. Akledyaha cannot be made wet by the waters. Ashosyaha cannot be dried by the air. So air by drying destroys the things, water by making the things wet destroys, fire by burning, and the swords by cutting. So all these means of destruction can never destroy the aham, the Brahman, the self. Because I am the self of all and I am pure eternal existence. Anything cannot destroy its own self. It is logical fallacy. So too Sat can never become a Sat. है ना? परमात्मा मर गए मतलब परमात्मा सत्स्वरूप है, सत्स्वरूप मर गया. You cannot say that language. When you said it is Sat, it is without death. You can't say that Sat मर गए हो. In the world you can have, इसका नाम कुबेर है लेकिन भीख मांगता है. That will happen. Those contrasts, the paradise can be seen. But in Paramatma, who is Sat, he is Sat, that means he can never die. So all the Chedana, Dahana, Kledana, Shoshana kriyas done by the swords, the fires, the winds and waters. Because the Atman is the Atman of them, and that Atman being Satchit Swarupa, can never be touched by these Vayu Adi and can never be touched by the powers of the Vayu Adi. वायु या वायु का शोषण शक्ति, अग्नि या अग्नि का दाहन शक्ति, जल और जल का क्लेदन शक्ति, स्वोर्ड एंड स्वोर्ड का कटने का शक्ति, दे वोंट टच द आत्मन. सो अच्छेद्योहम अदाह्योहम अक्लेद्यो अशोषेयवच देन नित्यः. I am eternal. Sarvagataha as a substratum, whatever you see, first I have to be there. On me only the things. Like wherever you see the waves, the water has to be there because on the water only the wave is projected. Sarvagataha. Then sthanuhu. It is sthanuhu. It is not modified from within. Achalaha. It is not shaken from without. Sanatanaha. It is, Sanatana word is there in Gita. Yaha nahi hai. Sanatana matlab not affected by time. So, Nityah Sarvagatah Sthanuhu Achalaha Ahamiti Sthitam. This is the final self. And when you see that, that alone is there. When you don't see that, then the whole Jagat is seen. When you see the Jagat, you ask the question where it has come from. Therefore, to satisfy your intellect, all the explanations so far given that are to be given. The Paramatma alone is there. He became aware of his own Shakti. Then he gave Chavi to that Shakti. And through the Shakti, he alone is called Ishvara. Then that Shakti, Mahat, when it became Mahat, through that he alone is called as Hiranyagarbha. Then that Mahat, when he takes form of Rupanama, the entire, he alone is called Virat Purusha. This is how the Samashti happens. In that Samashti, same thing at the Veshti level is called as the Jiva. ये सारे जो हम देख रहे हैं उसको एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए प्रक्रिया है. बट इन प्योर रियलिटी all of them are in really not there. If they are there, then reality would never be there. If it is not there, nobody can realize it. If nobody can realize it, nobody can get moksha. मोक्ष है मतलब आत्मानुभव संभव है. आत्मा ब्रह्मानुभव संभव है मतलब आत्मा ब्रह्म यथावत है. If the Brahman Atman is yathavat is there means it is not modified. If it's not modified means the world has not come from it. If the world has not come from it, then the world which we see must be only kalpita. Something seen but not really there is called kalpana. And the reality which remains always the same, then it is called as what do you call the modification less karya karana vilakshana. See that in the beginning days we were so afraid of all these listenings. Now as we with our innocence having faith in some guru went on listening, the benefit is not to the speaker, it is to us that we are able to slowly receive it, understand it. It's so at the beginning has happened. Still I say it's beginning. This whole knowledge has to seep into us. Then we should deign and dare to contemplate on that. Then that contemplated heat should dissolve the confusions, misunderstandings, doubts, and the right understanding should dawn. Then we should commit to live that right knowledge. And when it becomes habitual, we experience them. इतने बीच में पड़ाव है ये सब भी हम पार करें. Each of us will do that. The gurus will change, the speakers will change, our shariras will change. But this pursuit should continue. When I do sankalpa, I can continue. Finally, all boils to this that what right now I am entertaining in my mind. And what I continuously entertain in my mind means in my sankalpas. That's why my mind, that the sankalpa, that I must realize the substratum and get liberated. should be strengthened, strengthened, strengthened so much that in the flood of it, all other possible sankalpas should be drowned or wiped away or flooded or eliminated. ये साधक इस तरह से अपने आप को परमात्मा प्राप्ति के लिए तैयार करता हुआ उस तरफ जाता रहता है. Now, next shloka, very, very cute one. Vasishtha is unambiguous, he is crystal clear, he is very, very pakka. He says, Vivadante tatahi atra, vivadanto yatha bhramaihi, brahmayanto vayam tvete, jata vigata vibhramaha. So, Vivadante tatahi atra vivadanta. The people who wants to do the vivada, that the Jagat is there, the Jiva is there, the Jiva Upadhis are there, the Jagat is required for the Jiva, Jiva gets Sukha from this Jagat. So, is tarah se, for all these things, those do give reality in their Vivada, let them do. Vivadantaha tatahi atra vivadantaha. Yatha Brahmaihi, because of their Brahma, because of their ignorance, because of their delusion, because they have not studied Shastra, apprehended the absolute truth. Let them do so. Brahmayantaha. And in that their Brahma and Vivada, let them be in that Brahmana of wandering from Jiva Bhava with Jiva Bhava from one Sharira to other, one Karma to other, one Loka to other. Let them do so. Vayantu ete jataha. वशिष्ठ जी से कहते हैं वी आर द वंस टू whom this atmanubhava has got awakened. Vigata vibhramaha. For us there is no delusion that there is something called as the world other than Brahman. So that vibhrama is gone away. We are awakened to that self which is achedyaha, adahya, akledyaha, ashvashya. So for us everything is Brahman. We talk to you, but for us you are not other than Brahman. You understand? We use the objects, we see the world, yet everything is Brahman. We are not in a Brahma, and therefore we are not in a wandering. That the Brahman is not there, the world is real, therefore it is taken so serious with entire Ragadvesha, and every crime, criminality is done to possess those things of the world. We have no delusion, is everything us. The moment everything is us, the Vyavahara happens so beautifully for that Vyavahara. Whatever minimum mana kriya is required, that much happens. Other than that, the mana is dead only. As it is alive in other samsaris, with full of its power of sankalpa, kamana, variety of thoughts, projection, that is possible only when the reality is not apprehended. Like the fellow who is coming, when I don't know who is he, then only I have so many of projections. Na, ये मित्र है कि शत्रु है कि बंधु है कि भाई है. How many ways the mind does kalpana, you see? Because that exactly who is the person coming, I don't know. The moment he approaches me, when I know he is my own useless brother, after that, will the mind still project? ये मेरे भाई हैं, फिर भी पता नहीं कौन है, कोई बंधु है कि मित्र है शत्रु है. They can't go together. In the same way, in the non-realized state of self alone, the mind has its power to project all. When like the child, when you don't see, then only he can do all mischief. The moment you are seated in front of him, उसको चांस ही नहीं अभी mischief करने के लिए, उसको किताब पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. So too, when the self is apprehended, the mind can be only functional. It cannot have its projecting abilities if expressed and misused. The same thing in Mandukya Upanishad was so clearly said by our Mandukya Rishi in the Advaita Prakarana towards the end. Nishchalam nischarata chittam eki kuryat prayatnataha yada na liyate chittam nacha vikshipate punaha aninganam anavasam nishpannam brahma tattata. Nishcharat nishchalam chittam. That particular portion of last 4-5 mantras, beautiful they are there. The chitta, having raised the self, remains only for the function. It loses all its independent capacity of projections. Like Hanumanji. He is an individual, staying, but no individuality of him with his own projects, anything. If he is there only for Ramakaju Kine Vinu. Only Ramakar. His Hanumanji is there or not? Yes, is there to do Ramakarya. Is the Hanumanji is there or not? Not at all there as a separate individual. So too is the Manachitta is there or not? Yeah, it is for the functional purpose. As the Manachitta independently there to create their own projections and havocks as they were doing when the self is not apprehended. No, that will not be there. That's what he says. हमें तो भ्रम नहीं है, हमें तो आत्मा अनुभव हो चुका है. जो द्वैत भ्रम में रहना है, रहकर उस संसार में भ्रमित करते रहना है. लेट देम डू सो, वी आर नॉट सो. तो विवदन्ते तथा हि अत्र विवदन्तो यथा भ्रमैः भ्रमयन्तो वयं त्वेते जाताः विगत भ्रमाः. वयं तु एते जाताः. We are such ones to whom the Atmanubhava has happened. Vigata Brahmaha, there is no delusion for us of anything existing other than Brahma. We are playing in Advaita Brahma. For us, Dvaita is not there at all. Wow, what a state of evolution of Vaashishtha, which is our goal. समझो, कोशिश करो, पहुंच जाओ. Okay, now the same thing, more conspicuously, more subtly, Bhagavan Vasishtha says, these shlokas in fact are very, very important. They are the shelters where we have to stop there to have tea, coffee and relax. ऐसे श्लोक है जहां सारांश बताया जा रहा है. So this one shloka again. दृश्ये मूर्तेज्ञ संरूढ़े विकारादि पृथक भवेत नामूर्ते तज्ञ कचिते चित्खे सद सदात्मनि. Wow, he says दृश्ये मूर्ते अज्ञ संरूढ़े. When one is fully samyak rudah, rooted in ajnana, the self is not yet discovered. For him, drishya murte. There is this drishya, the thing which is other than him, murte, which is manifested. And that manifested murti, which is drishya, which is other than him, vikara adi pruthak bhavet. Lots of vikaras happen it, and it is always taken as other than him. The other contrast picture, namurte tagnya kachite. Tatgnya. The one who realizes the self, there's only self is there. There's no drishya, there's no murtitva to the drishya, there is no vikara to the drishyas or murtis, and there's nothing other than him. Sad and asad, all manifest and manifest is nothing but one self only. That we are in the state of. See the beauty of this sloka. Drishya murte agnya samrudhe vikaradi pruthak bhave. The one still who is not in the realization of the self, for him there is a drishya murtiman other than him. And in that murtiman drishya, continuous vikaras are happening. And that vikarayukta drishyas are other than him. And with them he maintains the hanta and mamata tadatmya as we discussed 15-20 minutes back. But on the other hand, tadnya, earlier fellow is agnya, non-knower of the self. This person is tatnya, knower of the tad vastu, the Brahman, the realized person of that Brahma vastu. Tadna kachita, chit khe, who is in that chidakasha. Chidakasha samana Brahma, जिसको तत् यहाँ कहा ज्ञा, जिसने उसको जान लिया, the one who is realized in it, the amurte. There is no murtiman drishya other than him. Therefore, there are no modifications in him. There is no thing that which is other than him. Therefore, there is no hanta mamata, there is no samsara. Everything is one self. If it is there, all sadhana sada, for that the Atma is me only. Sata is gross manifested, asat is subtle manifested. Gross and subtle manifestation is me, my own Maya Shakti, making me appear like that without touching me or changing me. ये है मेरे माया शक्ति का जादू. मैं ही आत्मा हूँ सदसत का. सदसत के रूप में व्यक्त होता हुआ मैं ही खेल खेल रहा हूँ, और व्यक्त होने के टाइम भी मैं व्यक्त नहीं हो रहा हूँ. इन द सेंस आई एम नॉट लूजिंग माय एसेंशियल सेल्फ. लाइक द वुड नेवर लूजेस इट्स वुडनेस इवन दो इट इज अपीयरिंग एज चेयर और टेबल. Isn't it? That's the self. In the example of wood, at least a shape is given to the wood for the person to make it as chair and sit. The Brahman to utna bhi nahi badala. Yet it's the agatita gatana shakti of the Maya This taraf can dare not touch the self little bit, and that side it can project the entire Rupanam. Khamakha. That's the power of Maya Shakti, and it's never independent from Paramatma. These two slokas, Vivadante tatahi atra vivadanto yatha brahmaihi brahmayanto vayantu ete jataha vayantu vigata vibramaha. This sloka. Then Drushye Murte Agnya Samrudhe Vigaradi Pratak Bhaveto Na Amurte Tagna Kachite Chitke Sadasadatmani. Both sadhana Sat, who has discovered the Atmanuchit Chidakasha, such Tajna na Amurta. There is nothing other than him for him to get lost. There is no sense of otherness. There is no gross subtleness. There is only pure self. Sarvam Egam Brahma and Aham Brahmas. Aha. So, in that infinite conscious Brahman, somewhere in the corner, because of that Chit Spandana, a cosmos or universe may be very vaguely projected. Like in 1 hour of class, somewhere vaguely one sentence we listen, remaining we sleep only. Good example. Padosya Vishwamitra, Tripadasya Amrutandevi. Right, friends? Now says Chittarau Chetyarasataha Shakti Kaladinamikam Tanotyakasha Vishadamo Chinmadushri Swamanjarim. See? Chittarau. On the tree of Chit, pure consciousness, Chetyarasataha. Because of the Chit Shakti, which is called as Rasanau, which is called the Shakti Swarupa, Kala Adi Namikam. Starting from the Kala, then the Desha, then all the Tanmatras, then Panchamahabhutas, and all the Rupas, to the Rupas, all the Namas, Tanoti, Akasha Vishadam. The entire pure conscious self may, all of these are projected Chinmado Shrihi Samanjarim. In the Chinmado Shri means finally, in the projected world, the Madhushri, or the Manjari is the Guldasta of all the flowers of name and form. Madhushri is whatever small little pleasures in that. All of that are nothing but the Paramatma Ananda only. And pure consciousness is the tree, in that its own Shakti with which the entire world of branches, world of leaves or flowers, fruits, they are all projected. That's what somewhat similar to what we studied in Gita, Pandrama Adhyay, the Urdhamula Vadashakam, or even same in Kathopanishad as well as Mundaka, Urdhamulo Avakshakaha, Yeshoshvatta Sanatana. Almost any of the Puranas, Ityasas, wherever Vedanta Vishayas come, there this will again and again come. The entire Vishwa is a tree projected on the consciousness. Jagad Vruksha. Urdhamulam Adashakam Ashvat. Vishwa Vruksha. Without being created, they are all projected. Therefore, they are not real. In and that, the substratum is Paramatma. We are lost in the Rupa Nama so efficiently that we are not able to recognize the substratum, the Atman. When we with Viveka Vairagya keep away Rupanama and gain the inner subtlety and strength, we can apprehend the reality. Reality is so infinite, so complete, so beautiful, so blissful, one without second, without modifications, without limitations, without conditions. Therefore, there is no samsara dukkha. We are already that. But such we, identified with one set of panchakoshas, we are just cocooned and suffering. Remember that example we gave few months back in one of the classes? When you go to a shoe shop, your leg size, let us say, is 8 number. If he gives you a 6 or 7 number chappal or shoe, how much difficult it is to wear and walk. एक नंबर या दो नंबर चप्पल जूता काम में. Now such an infinite conscious self me, when I am cocooned in this panchakosha one sharira, how much suffocating it will be. That is called actual samsara dukkha. Now, removing our feet from 6 number, putting it in 7 number or putting in 5 number, In any chapel you put your feet, you are conditioned. चारा चप्पल फेंको आराम से चलो. So too the infinite self, conditioned by any finite, will be miserable only. Just free from all conditionings. First realize its unconditional self, then play any play if you want. Next, chittaro chetya rasadaha shakti kaladi namikam tanoti. All the kala, desha, rupa, nama are chit shakti only, projecting based on chit paramatma. So for everything, the required sat is taken from the Sat Brahma. The rupa nama are kalpita by this anokha shakti called as Maya. That rupa nama cannot exist to Sat. Sat being Brahman, everything is Brahman named and formed. But to the Brahman, really, there is no form and name to condition him. That Brahman we are. Like I am man first, then only through the wife, the husband, or through the son, father, that only I play Upadhi. I should not be lost in those relations so much that I forget my independent manhood. हम ऐसा हो गया, हम हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ आइडेंटिटी से सफर करते हैं, अपने आप को एक आदमी भी भूल जाते हैं, पैजामा बन जाते हैं. सेम वे वी हैव फॉरगॉटन दैट वी आर द सेल्फ and we are playing all nonsense roles, suffering. This calling forgetting self is ignorance, identifying with upadhis is delusion, and living at the level of upadhis, eking out sukha is samsara, and that is never coming, and becoming dukkha is bandhana. Think, think again and again. Understand deeply, and start avoiding in it, establishing that avoidance. That I am the self, there is nothing other than self. While doing this, every ignorance be dispelled by knowledge, every doubt will be dispelled by answer, by the grace of God and Guru if we are regular in our Shravana Adhyayana Manana. Thank you. We will see from 64th mantra tomorrow. Today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mantra हमने किया. Is a good record, good number. Tomorrow from 64 up to 75 we will see. So maybe 10, 11 mantras. Then the next day the 86 mantras. So 2 या 3 दिन में Brahma Pratipadana will be over. The summary of it is everything is Brahman only. And all that which we see is projected by the Brahma Shakti. In finally, that Shakti also is never other than apart from that Brahman. Like all my words are expression of my own speaking power. My speaking power is never separate from me. Isn't it? Never independent from me. So I am without my speaking power and speech is Brahman. I am with my speaking power and speech is me, the Ishvara. Isn't it? In my power, I alone am there, because without my power is not there. In the expression of my power also I am there. Recognizing that I am the substratum is reality, is realization. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hey Prabhu Rama, hey Vasishtha. May we not miss the understanding or misunderstand even one shloka or one topic. May every shloka reveal to us the Brahman for which purpose you are giving this knowledge. Hey Vasishtha, hey Rama, enter into us when we are in the class of the class. Let this Yoga Vasishtha happen by thought, word, deed and experience in us. Okay मित्रों, let us join for another yoga. This Yoga Vasishtha हो गया, अब योग तारावली करते हैं.